How you going, Steve?
Good, Phil. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. It's winterish and a little bit cold, but other than that, it's good.
Yeah, as you can see, I have my sweatshirt on too. They're saying that tomorrow summer will magically appear, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, sounds good. So what are we going to have a talk about today?
I had this gentleman contact me on LinkedIn, and he wants to know what are the advantages of using a variant table versus a database table. And I thought that might be a good topic because it's probably of interest to more than just him.
Okay, fair enough. I suppose my starting point is don't use the custom table just as the starting point.
Well, and I agree completely. Database objects are to be avoided at any cost in my mind. And I don't even know, you can do it in LOVC. I'm not sure you can do it in the AVC yet. I don't know the answer to that question.
No, and yeah, I don't know that either actually, but interesting point because that could be one of those transition things that people would need to think about. So yeah, I don't know if that question's been brought up really with the AVC.
It hadn't as of my last journey to the AVC, but that's been just a little while back. But I think that you can still access it via a pass-through variant table, the way that same way you can in LOVC. I don't think you can access it via a function call called from a procedure or out of a user exit in the AVC. You can do that in LOVC. I don't think you can do that in AVC. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure. And that sounds like a topic for the CWG forums more than for you and I.
Yeah, no, I think so. But yeah, I suppose if we twist it around the other way, in what case would you consider using a database table versus the variant table?
One of the drawbacks about using a database table is you don't have effectivity control on it anymore unless you put date fields in the table and somehow in your function module reference those date fields against whatever application, SD or MRP or whatever it is you're processing against.
Yeah. So my understanding of perhaps going to the database table through the variant table link, if you like, was if you had a very large table, there was I think a performance consideration that might help going that way.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point, the performance recommendation was always 100,000 cells, right? So if you had more than 100,000 cells in your variant table, you should create a database table and link the variant table to the database table.
But in the normal course of things, like a variant table is what I would always probably recommend. It belongs to the VC modeler's influence. As soon as you start going into functions and going into a custom database table or whatever, things that are happening outside of your area of influence.
The issue with linking a variant database table to a variant table to a database table is if you do that, you really need to delete the contents of the variant table because they're not referenced anymore. And you will think they are if you leave the contents there. This particular inquiry also mentioned using 17 characteristics in a variant table. I'm a big fan of normalized tables, and that 17 characteristics is the definition of a denormalized table. So my advice is to normalize your tables, stick them into variants, and link them with primary and foreign keys.
Because I think that's the other part of performance that's mentioned sometimes. When the table goes wide, it has a greater impact on performance than when it goes long, I think. Yeah. How do you move that data around and things like that? It becomes a bit more complex.
With a regular variant table, at least you can control the contents with ECM. But once you move them into the database table, like we talked before, the use of ECM is out. You can't do it anymore. You somehow have to control the contents of that table in another method.
Yeah.
Whatever method that may be for your business.
I agree. My general approach with VC is that if you can do it with standard VC options, to me, functions is a last resort typically, unless you cannot really effectively or efficiently do it with a constraint in the variant table or whatever it is. But so I try and always keep the models in that standard functionality because it just takes another group of people out of the equation, in my view.
I completely agree. The bottom line is avoid custom code wherever and whenever you can.
Yep.
Change your business. Don't change the software.
Okay. Oh, I hope that's answered the gentleman's question.
If it hasn't, he can post it on the CWG forums, or better yet, go to a CWG conference, which I believe is happening next week. Talk to the actual SAP experts that will be at those conferences, including SAP product managers who know all this stuff.
True. That's a good suggestion. I've got my registration all done and can't be there in person, but I'll be there virtually.
Sorry, I'm not that deeply involved anymore. But for those of you that are, it's the best resource you have for VC-related information.
True. Okay. I think we're pretty good on that.
Cheers. Sounds like a plan, man.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Talk to you next time out, Phil.
Okay. You too.